Right now, on the underside of a leaf in a rainforest, 25 centimeters above the forest floor, at exactly the right height, an ant is biting down with everything she has, and she will never let go. She is already dead. She just doesn't know it yet. 3 weeks ago, something climbed inside her body. It has been growing in the dark ever since, quietly, patiently, rewriting her from the inside. And in a few hours, it will erupt out of the back of her skull. This is not science fiction. This is happening in a forest tonight, on 1,000 leaves at once. But here is the part that should truly disturb you. The thing that took control of her body never touched her brain. This is not a story. This is exactly what happens when the zombie ant fungus, Ophiocordyceps unilateralis, seizes a body it has no right to rule. It all begins with something smaller than a grain of salt, a single spore, drifting in the humid air of a tropical forest. It could land anywhere. It lands on an ant. This is the moment of infection. The ant feels nothing. She has no pain receptor for what is about to happen. The spore germinates. It releases enzymes that bore a hole through her exoskeleton. A perfect microscopic wound. And through that hole, the fungus sends in its first cells. They're called hyphae, thin, branching threads. This is where people get the story wrong. They think the fungus takes over the brain. It doesn't need the brain. It has a far smarter plan. Here is what it does instead. The fungus spreads through her body, not randomly, but strategically. It targets the muscles. Every single muscle fiber is wrapped in fungal cells. It destroys the connections between the ant's motor neurons and her muscles. One by one, the nerves that carry the brain's commands are severed. And then the fungus does something horrifying. It wires itself directly into the muscles themselves. Think about what that means. The ant's brain is intact, fully functional. She can see, she can feel, she can process everything that is happening. But the brain is now a passenger. The fungus is the driver. The ant is a prisoner inside her own body. And here is the part that makes this a masterpiece of evolutionary horror. Then one day, the ant does something an ant should never do. She leaves the train. Her sisters know something is wrong. They detect the infection. They seize the sick ant and drag her as far from the colony as they can. An act of sacrifice to protect the nest. And that is exactly what the fungus wants. The ant begins her final journey. Scientists call it the death march. But this is no aimless wandering. The fungus steers her to a very specific point, a leaf or a twig, exactly 25 centimeters above the ground. Not 20, not 30, exactly 25. And this is not random, because the temperature and the humidity at that height are the ideal conditions for what comes next. 94% of infected ants sink their jaws into a leaf vein. Not the edge, not the surface, the vein. The one place where an ant's mandibles can clamp with maximum force. The jaw muscles contract, harder, harder still, until the mandibles lock and never open again. They call it the death grip, and that is where she dies. Mouth fused to a leaf, legs frozen in place, and her brain untouched to the very last moment. The fungus has achieved its purpose. The host has been positioned at the perfect height, and the fatal grip is secured. For decades, everyone assumed a parasite like this must hijack the brain. It's the obvious answer. Seize the command center, and the body follows. But when scientists sliced open these ants, and went looking for the fungus in the brain. It wasn't there. The brain is left almost completely intact. Instead, the fungus wires itself directly into the muscles, bypassing the brain entirely. Like a puppeteer, cutting the strings to the head and gripping the arms and legs directly. It doesn't convince the ant to climb. It doesn't need to. It simply moves her, which leaves us with a thought too dark to prove and too dark to dismiss. If the brain is untouched, then somewhere inside that body, clamped to a leaf, unable to move or scream or let go, is she still awake, still watching? A passenger locked inside her own corpse as it is slowly consumed. Because now the fungus feeds. It devours her from the inside, organs, tissue, everything but the muscles it still needs, and the brain it never wanted. And a few days after her death, the finale begins. A stalk erupts from the back of her head. It grows longer and longer, curving out over the trail below. The same trail her sisters still walk every single day. And when it is ready, it opens, and it rains spores down onto them. The ants walking below have no idea. They are following the paths their ancestors have followed for millions of years. The very paths this fungus has learned to exploit with surgical precision. A single infected ant can release enough spores to infect dozens more. And so, the cycle begins again. So why should any of this keep you up at night? It's just an ant, a fungus in a faraway jungle. It cannot touch you, and that is true. For now, here is what makes Cordyceps truly terrifying. It is not a single species. It is a genus, hundreds of species, each one specialized to a different insect host. There is a Cordyceps that targets caterpillars, another that targets spiders, another for beetles. Each one has evolved its own manipulation strategy, its own precise sequence of commands, tailored to the biology of its chosen victim. Ophiocordyceps is a specialist. It has spent millions of years perfecting the key to exactly one lock, a single species of ant. It cannot infect you, and even if it tried, your body has a shield it cannot cross. Your temperature, 37 degrees, is simply too hot for it to grow. That fever running through your veins is a wall this fungus cannot climb. But here is the uncomfortable truth. That wall is only as strong as the world stays cool. As the planet heats up, fungi are being forced to adapt to higher temperatures. The exact temperatures that once kept them out of us. We have already watched brand new fungal threats to humans emerge from nowhere in the last decade. Ophiocordyceps will never be the one that jumps to us, but it is living proof of what fungi are capable of building, given enough time and the right host. Nature already invented mind control. It perfected the puppet. The only thing standing between it and us is a few degrees. This has been Apex Pathogen. If this fascinated you as much as it disturbed you, subscribe, because next week we meet another puppet master. Sleep well, if you still can.